right, so good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you're joining us from, everyone. My name is Jesse, and I am with Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants. If you're joining us for the first time, we are all about bringing conservation, adventure, and science into classrooms around the world. And I want to do a special shout out and thank you to all our teachers for joining us this month. This has been our biggest month as an organization ever. I think by the end of the month, 65 to 70 broadcasts from just the two-man team of Joe and I. So it's been a lot of fun, and we really appreciate you guys joining us as we continue to celebrate and showcase such amazing scientists, explorers, and places around the globe. Now, this has been a special week because last week we did the Sloth Ironman Games. If you guys didn't check this out, I encourage everybody to go to toucanrescueranch.org and learn more in general about the amazing Sloth Ironman Games. We've been partnering with the ranch over the last many years, helping them showcase their amazing sloths, birds, all sorts of great stuff, and it was one of their biggest fundraisers ever. So several of our teachers donated in the hundreds of dollars towards their efforts to conserve, rehabilitate, re-release injured wildlife. They do amazing work at the ranch, and I really encourage you guys to check this out. And if you're able to, contribute to their cause. It goes a really long way to helping save some amazing species at the ranch. So I don't want to steal all their thunder. Without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Andrea, who's going to walk us around and show us some of their amazing animals there. Andrea, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Jesse, as always, for hosting us. So welcome, you guys. My name is Andrea. I am the tour coordinator here at the Toucan Rescue Ranch. I have been here for a year already. I really like this place, so I really hope you guys like it as well. So, well, today we're also gonna see some sloths, both adults and teeny tiny baby sloths that I'm sure that all of you are gonna love. So, as Jesse was saying about the Sloth Ironman Games, I first want to thank you all who donated towards the cause. We managed to reach our goal, and actually we had like almost $8,000. So that is amazing. You guys, you guys are gonna get to see some of these programs and what we do for the Saving Sloths Together program. So the Saving Sloths Together program is a program that we have here where we help baby orphan sloths. So here at the Toucan Rescue Ranch, if you guys still do not know about us, we are a rescue center and sanctuary here in Costa Rica. So what we do as a rescue center is that, of course, we rescue, rehabilitate, and rewild as many animals as possible. So we want to be able to see as many animals going back into the wild as we can, and that includes the sloths. If an animal cannot make it back into the wild because of certain reasons, then they will have to stay here with the sanctuary with us. We're actually gonna get to see some sloths that are on the rehab area, that are getting, they're getting used to being like wild sloths again. With the teeny tiny baby sloths, they still have a long way to go, but hopefully in around like a year and a half to 2 years, they will get the chance to go back. And then we will also see some sloths that unfortunately we're not able to make it back into the wild. So I'm actually going to start with one of my good friends, Stevie the sloth. She was actually part of the Saving Sloths Together program, but she failed. So she got really used to people, and you can really tell because even though she's sleeping on her bucket over there, when she starts hearing people, she gets up and she starts trying to see if she can, get a treat from the humans or something. Let us not confuse Stevie with a friendly sloth, because even though she's really interested in people, she can still be really dangerous. So Stevie, as you can see, is a two-fingered sloth. So two-fingered sloths have 2 claws or 2 fingers on their hands, just like what you can see there. But as any other sloth, they have 3 toes on their feet. So you can get to see the 3 toes there. With the 3-fingered sloth, they have 3 fingers on their hands and 3 fingers on their feet, 3 toes on their feet. These guys also have really sharp teeth. You can actually see some of Stevie's teeth over there, which are quite dangerous, really sharp actually. So you never want to mess up with an angry sloth, believe me. Just look at those teeth. Hello. So as I was saying, oh, there you go. So you guys, I'm probably sure that you have seen a lion or a tiger when they open up their mouths. You can see the really, really big and sharp fangs. I don't know if you've ever seen a sloth fangs like Stevie's. And even the babies, they are born with those really, really sharp teeth. Of course, they're smaller than what Stevie has them, but they're really, really small. So here she is. Two-fingered sloths and old sloths are actually really, really amazing animals. These guys, as you can see, have a lot of strength. So Latte here, she's eating from upside down. If we tried to do this, we would probably get, a little fuzzy and dizzy. It is not possible for us to eat hanging from upside down like Latte is doing. But old sloths, they're actually made to be hanging from upside down and living their lives from upside down. So, of course, they have to be really, really strong to be, hanging like this. Basically, their feet and their hands act like hooks. Sorry about those geese. um, so they have these really sharp nails that they use as hooks. So, as you can see from here, they basically tense their tendons, and they can stay like this for quite a while. Looks like Latte is still looking for more flowers. Do you want to do a close-up? So with Latte, you can see her eyes over here. Hey, can you still stay still, please? Just a second. I don't know if you guys got to see her eyes, but her eyes are actually really, really small, and her pupils are really small as well. That's a reason why these guys do not have a good eyesight, especially during the night. So there you can see. But you can see that sloths, they have a really big nose. Two-fingered sloths have like a piggy nose, which is really, really cute. It's one of my favorite things about sloths, I do have to say that. And they're always wet. So sloths, they depend even more on their sense of smell rather than their eyesight. So that's why they have a really, really big piggy nose. Then we have Howie. Howie was also part of the Saving Sloths Together program, same as Stevie. But even though Howie and his friends were at the release site, they were in the university, Howie decided that he wanted to drop out of college. So he decided that he didn't want to study anymore. And when we take the sloths to the university, it means that they don't have any kind of contact with any kind of person. So they are in really, really big enclosures with a more natural environment over there, with trees and ropes and vines and everything, so that they can learn to be wild sloths again. But Howie, he decided that he wanted to keep on being around humans. So he got really, really close to the volunteer house and the kitchen, and unfortunately he got injured trying to get inside one of the volunteer houses. So he's gonna have to stay here with us. He's gonna have to live with us, and that's okay. We actually have a 90% success rate of returning the babies back into the wild, which is really, really amazing. But yeah, he's gonna have to stay here with us. He's gonna become an animal ambassador. So it's really important to always have animal ambassadors so we can teach people like you guys about the sloths, because that's a really, really important part of conservation. So here at the Toucan Rescue Ranch, we have an amazing educational program where all of our tours and all of the things we do here, all of our work, we try to educate people into trying to conserve the sloths, also the toucans, the monkeys, and every animal that we receive here, and even the ones that we don't receive here. So Josie, before I move on with the teeny tiny babies, I don't know if there are any questions so far?
Well, our first question, just back to it, just in case the class missed it. What type of flowers was the sloth eating?
Okay, so well, that's a nice question. This is a hibiscus flower. I don't know if you guys are familiar with hibiscus flowers, but if you guys like candy, like chocolates, this is basically like a chocolate for the sloths. So we use these flowers to help encourage the sloths to move a little bit and to come out of their buckets and to start climbing and everything. Because if they start moving around their enclosure, well, Stevie went to her bucket again, but if they start moving around their enclosure, then the vet and the vet team, they can see if they're having any problems climbing around, or if they see something wrong on their body, because most of the times these guys spend on the buckets. So it can be quite difficult for us to see if they have any problems climbing or in their skin or something, especially the ones that, you know, are getting rehabilitated.
Awesome. And then a quick follow-up from Ms. Geisman's class in Enid, Oklahoma, McKinley Elementary. They just want to know, how much does the sloth eat during the whole day? So how many of those flowers or other things?
Well, since these flowers are like candy, same as with kids, we do not want to give them as many flowers because they can also get a little bit fat, and we do not want that. But for the permanent residents, we provide them with leaves because, of course, sloths eat leaves. They spend most of the time up on the trees looking for leaves to eat. So these are almond tree leaves and poro leaves, one of their favorite types of leaves. But for the permanent residents, we also give them green beans and carrots. Looks like Howie ate some of those carrots. Stevie, on the other hand, she almost didn't leave anything on her plate. So she had a really good breakfast. We give them 3 times a day the green beans and the carrots, and we leave the leaves over there for them to eat whenever they feel hungry. And for the babies that we're trying to rehabilitate and rewild, we only give them the leaves and sometimes the flowers as well. Yesterday, if you guys were watching the ceremony, the award ceremony for the Sloth Games, the first place, Helga, she received a lot of flowers, hibiscus flowers, because that was her celebration.
Excellent. All I was going to say is that's awesome. I'm going to keep linking to that for people that want to tune in and check out everything about the Sloth Ironman Games. It's just such an amazing celebration. But if you want to take us around and show us a little more, we'll take more questions from our live YouTube classes after.
Okay, awesome. So let me just a second to switch my camera. Okay, so I'm gonna introduce you guys to some really teeny tiny baby sloths. Right now, we have a shocking number of 13 baby sloths, and they have been rescued in around like a month. So, unfortunately, this is like the high season for us to rescue baby sloths. The peak seasons are at the beginning of the year and as we're ending the year. So, what happens is that right now we're having a lot of storms going on, and some of these babies fall from their mother's belly in a really, really strong storm. Also, sometimes when their mothers, they feel like the baby is not healthy enough, they will abandon the baby, sadly. Survival of the fittest, you know, the strongest one. And it all can also happen, well, sloths, they can only have one baby at the same time, but sometimes mothers have 2 babies. So if they have 2 babies, they have to sadly abandon one of those babies, the weakest baby, because of course survival of the fittest as well. So yeah, right now we have a lot of babies. Most of them are sleeping, but you will get to see at least 3 that are really, really cute. So give me just 1 second. There you go. This is Tabitha. All of these babies are less than 2 months old. They are really, really tiny, as you can see. This is like Tabitha's jungle gym. So she is in this hammock, and as you can see, she's got a lot of ropes that go everywhere in the hammock, so she can start exercising. Right now, this is the Sloth Nursery. So basically, all of these chairs have a lot of babies. So As I said, we have 13 babies. We're running out of chairs, running out of time as well, because it takes a long while to feed these babies. Since these are newborn babies, all of them need milk. So for us to feed them, we have to give them goat's milk. We cannot give them cow's milk because they can get sick on their stomachs and they can have a diarrhea. And of course, we do not want that. And that can make them feel really, really uncomfortable, right? So Tabitha, I don't know if you guys will get to see, but she's got a huge belly over here. So sloths, they go to the bathroom every once or twice a week, and it looks like it might be Tabitha's turn. One of her caretakers was just telling me that she has been taking Tabitha outside to go to the bathroom, but apparently she doesn't want to. I'm sure that probably next time she takes her to the bathroom, she might go because she has a really, really big belly. Let's see who else is out. We have a little bit of baby Sienna right here, so you can see a little bit of her tiny hands. All of these babies are cuddling under blankets. So at this age, these babies would be with their mother and hanging on their mother's belly. And of course, their mother's belly is really warm. And we have to keep these babies warm because otherwise they can get sick. And we do not want anything happening to them. So that's why we have to provide them with as many blankets as we can. You guys can actually help us buy these blankets. So we have an Amazon wish list, which is a really amazing way on how you guys can help us. So if you like these babies and you want to support us with the blankets and even plush toys, you can do so. We have baby Tarzan here. Baby Tarzan is our only three-fingered sloth. You can see that he's covering his face with his blanket here. And he also has a plush toy here. So these plush toys, same as the blankets, is for them to keep warm and also to grab onto something. So they can at least think that they are with their mothers. Then we have baby Colin. Out of all of these babies, baby Colin was the first one we rescued. He has been here for a couple months. He is hanging out a little bit over here. And then we have baby Tallulah. These guys were really, really active a while ago. So baby Colin and baby Tallulah, as one of her caretakers, their caretakers was telling me, is that they're becoming really, really active sloths. So probably as they start developing their personalities and as they start developing and growing older, they might be really, really hard to take care of. I'm pretty sure about that. The babies that we just had in high school, the sloth leads for the Sloth Airman Games, Helga, Amalur, Kairos, and Anne, they also were in the nursery a year ago. And it is really, really fun because they were really troublemakers, like really, really tiny troublemakers. So let's see what the future brings for these babies. I'm sure that it's going to be really fun. So as I was telling you, we have to feed them with milk, and we cannot give them a bottle of milk. We actually have to feed them with a syringe, and it takes up to 20 to 30 minutes or even longer to feed just one baby. So if you guys do the math, half an hour with each baby, with 13 babies, and we have to feed them every 3 to 4 hours, we're basically not sleeping here. So the ones that are taking care of these babies are our founder, Leslie, and Giselle, one of the caretakers. And yeah, they have to be here 24/7, taking care of the babies, feeding the babies, and making sure that they are healthy and happy and warm. So it is a really, really tiring process, but of course it is really worth it. Because at the end, we can see all of these 13 babies going back into the wild. So Jesse, are there any questions about these teeny tiny babies?
I bet there's lots of questions to come. We've got groups in Newfoundland, Oklahoma, New Jersey, all across Canada and the US. So welcome in live and on YouTube, everybody. It's so nice to have so many classes. And yeah, we're going to dive in with questions. If you are on YouTube, please share in the chat bar. We'll take them from there. But let's start with our live classes. Miss Martin's group, if you guys want to kick us off with a question. So Miss Martin's class joining us today in, where are we? Concord, North Carolina. Welcome, guys. And yeah, kick us off with a question.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Connor, do you have a question? Oh, anybody have a question? No. We were the class that had the one about the flower. We were curious about that. Yeah.
How old are all of the babies? Like,
yeah, how old are the babies? Exactly.
How old are these babies? Well, I'm not exactly sure of each of their ages, but I do know that it ranges from a couple days old to maybe 2 months old. Right here on this other side, I don't know if you're gonna get to see her, but we have a brand new baby. His name is Angel, and he is a 3-day-old baby that we got to rescue like 3 days ago. And yeah, and unfortunately, we found him with his mother, and his mother had passed away. So he was clinging onto his dead mother's body. But now we're taking care of him. Now he's safe, and he will get to join the Saving Sloths Together program.
Nice. Well, how cute is that? I like that the toy is bigger than him.
Yeah.
The Chad's Ford, Pennsylvania, Miss Gala's class. If you guys want to come in and ask a question about the sloths,
you have a
the
different
ranch.
one?
Hey,
Hello.
well, yes, you're on camera. Hi. Any questions for Andrea?
Do you have a different question, Casper? What is it?
Do sloths only eat like bananas and stuff? Do they eat fruit?
Will sloths eat any fruits like bananas or anything, or is it just the vegetables?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, so that is a really nice question. It depends on the species. So the three-fingered sloths, they mainly eat only leaves. Sometimes they can eat fruits and flowers from trees, definitely not bananas, but some of the wild trees. And the two-fingered sloths, they could be considered omnivores because they do not only eat leaves, flowers, and fruits, but they can also eat insects. And if they have the chance, people have seen them eating lizards and birds' eggs. Isn't that cool?
That is very cool, and I like that we're getting a chance to be greeted by a sloth who wants to come say hello. That's adorable. I'll put myself off the camera. Miss Barajas' class in Oxnard, California. If you guys want to come in and share your question, you're in the stream now.
Bellalina, did you have a question? Oh, Brianna, can you please unmute and ask your question real quick?
Where did you get the baby sloths?
Where did you get all the babies, Andrea?
Okay, so that is also a really nice question. So here in Costa Rica, we have the Caribbean and the Pacific side, right? Most of the babies come from the Caribbean side because we're closer to the Caribbean side. So most of them come from places called like Sarapiquí, Siquirres, Guapiles, or Limon. But we also receive babies that come from the Central Valley, where we are located, and also from the Pacific side. I remember a baby that came from the borderline with Panama on the Southern Pacific side. So we had to get him on a boat ride, a car ride, another boat ride, on an airplane to get here to the Central Valley, and then another car ride from the airport to here. So that was an incredible journey for a teeny tiny baby. Yeah, we get to rescue them from everywhere in Costa Rica.
That's a great question, guys. All right, we're going to go to my favorite place in Canada. We're going to Newfoundland to Miss Wells' class. Welcome in, guys. So nice to have you here. Hey. So, guys, do you have a question for us? I know you were on YouTube. Now you got a chance to come in live. Much more fun to have you guys live. But share away. Anything you want to know. Your mic is on. You have you sound like mice down a well.
It does.
We can wave at you, but your audio is a little iffy. So, Ms. Wells, share your question in the chat. Play with it. Maybe there's something you can do with your speaker in StreamYard while we're doing it. But share the question in the chat. We'll see if we can come back in a minute. I am sorry about that, but welcome in. So nice to have you guys. It's a great start. Let's take some from YouTube then while we're waiting for Ms. Wells to get that going. Ms. Delpino's class. Ms. Delpino had a little bit of a tech issue. She's on YouTube now. They want to know, how come two-toed sloths have super sharp teeth since they're not carnivores?
Oh, well, that is a really, really nice question. So, those teeth are only for defense. So if they're feeling threatened because there's a human that wants to pet them or play with them, or if there's a natural predator like a wildcat, let's say a puma or a jaguar, then they will try to bite those predators to scare them away. The thing is that when sloths bite you, they just don't bite you and let go of you. They will start biting and biting and biting and biting. So you can tell that it hurts a little bit. I still haven't been bitten because I do not get to interact with any other animals here, which is really nice. And I really want to keep all of my fingers to myself. But yeah, so it's basically just for defense. If you guys give me just 1 second, I can look for a picture that I took to one of our permanent resident sloths, Georgie. I really hope we get to see Georgie. He was yawning the other day, and you get to see, here, I have it. So here you get to see his teeth. So you already saw Stevie's fangs, like her canine teeth. But these like black teeth that you see here are their molars. So since these guys chew on leaves, they only use those molars to be chewing on the leaves, which is pretty interesting to see them eating.
Thanks, Andrea. That was great. I like the imagery there. I like the juxtaposition between the baby sloth looking very cutely at you and you talking about how savage they can be. Makes my day every time. Let's head to New Jersey, Morristown, Miss Fedinich's class. They want to know, how do you know when they're ready to go back to the wild? So what is it about a sloth that tells you, okay, we can re-release it back into the jungle?
Oh, well, that's a great question. I really like that question. So these babies will stay with us for at least 2 years, and they have to go through certain stages. So same as you guys, they have to go to school. As I told you, these babies are all in the nursery or in preschool. So here in the nursery and preschool, well, the teeny newborn babies, they get to develop and grow a little longer, a little bigger, sorry. Here on the jungle gym over here, even on the chairs, or here in this small structure that we have for the babies, sometimes we can see them climbing up here. So in this structure, they get to exercise a little bit and also to get a little used to being climbing, because at around like 1 or 2 months old, they start naturally climbing on the trees and getting around by their mothers. So after they turn like 3 months of age, we take them to the elementary school. I will go to elementary school so you guys can see it. Right now, we don't have any babies there. Then in elementary school, they get to practice a little bit more their climbing skills. Then they will come to high school, to these trees that you can see here. So this is an outdoor enclosure. The babies don't have any chance to escape, and they get to be in these trees. So they get to eat from those trees, sleep on those trees, and we start weaning them off of the blankets and the buckets that we keep them in. And then in college, the university, is when they are around like a year and a half old. So we take them over there, and we have really big enclosures with trees and ropes and everything, and they don't get to see any more humans, or at least not as much as they do here. And yeah, when we know they're ready is that they get scared of people, or they just don't want to be around people, which is a really good sign. And also, when we see that they're getting ready because they're gaining weight and they're eating on their own, we open the gates from the enclosure, put them a radio collar that makes them look really fancy, and then they go off into the wild. So we keep on monitoring them for around like 6 months. or maybe a little less depending on the individual. And then when we see that they're gaining more weight and that they are living by themselves there without any problems, then that's where we know that they are absolutely ready to go to a national park or a private reserve or something where they will get to live their wildlife.
Excellent. Thank you for the detailed answer. I absolutely love that. I really, yeah, that was great. Miss Wells' class, I know we don't have audio, but I'll bring you back in to say crazy hi, because you guys are crazy and I love it. Their question was, what is their biggest predator, Andrea? So what eats sloths?
Okay, so here in Costa Rica, it is now considered extinct, but one of their main predators would be the Harpy Eagle. Harpy Eagles are the largest eagle in the Americas, so it's even bigger than the bald eagle, and it is the third largest eagle in the world, for you guys to have an idea, that one. Harpy Eagles are amazing. They are super, super big, and those guys, what they do is that, for example, if they see baby Tabitha hanging around here, the Harpy Eagle would just come, steal the baby away, and fly away. Here in Costa Rica, since we do not have the Harpy Eagles anymore, although they can be found in some other parts of Central and South America, pumas, ocelots, jaguars, owls, dogs is also a really huge issue for sloths. They can be one of their natural predators.
I really encourage all our classes to look up Harpy Eagles when they've done this program. I was a really nerdy kid. I had a life-size Harpy Eagle poster on my wall. They're like the most beautiful bird in the world. I just love them. I mean, it's sad that they eat sloths for the purposes of this program, but very, very fantastic animal. Andrea, you're going so quickly through the questions. This is great. I'm going to go back to Miss Martin's class to come on up for another one. Miss Martin,
of course.
Come on, guys. Hey.
Hi.
Abby, it's your question.
Do you ever get to hold any of the sloths?
Yeah, do you ever get to hold any of them, Andrea? And does anyone ever get to hold any of them at the Toucan Rescue Ranch?
Okay, great question. No, I did not get to hold them, and even if I wanted to, they might scratch me or bite me. Even these babies, they were born with their really sharp nails and teeth, so I don't want that. And since these babies are going to get back into the wild, we don't want them to get too used to people. The most contact they get at this age is that when they get to feed them, most of the times it's on the buckets, although sometimes they need some of the body's warmth. So our founder Leslie will wrap them up in the blankets, and especially if they still haven't gotten to go to the toilet, they need a little bit of bowel movement. So when she starts walking with the babies, they get that bowel movement, and then they get to go to the bathroom. But as soon as they get to elementary school, they have absolutely no contact with people. No one gets to hold them, or we do not get to pet them or anything, because they will bite us. And with the adults, even less.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And I'm glad we really harped on that point. It's really important to note the whole process of making sure that the sloths don't want to be around people. I know it's really nice that we get the chance to see them today, but when it comes to releasing animals into the wild, animals really should be wary of humans. They should not want to be with them. They should flee at the sight of them. And so it's difficult to build up that process after you've had such close interactions with them, but it's really important to the work that you guys do. So excellent. Miss Gayla's class, come on back in for a second question and go for it, guys. Hey.
All right, Ellie. What's your question?
Do the sloths ever climb out of the buckets?
Yeah, they do. Actually, Tallulah, the baby that was over here, one day she climbed all over this rope, and Leslie found her on this corner right here, just in time. So they do wander around a little bit. There's always someone here on the porch taking care of them, or at least, keeping an eye on them so they will not escape or there's nothing wrong with them. But most of the times they can be wandering around on the chairs or on the jungle gym here or on the other structure here, because we want to promote, to encourage exercise for them.
Excellent. All right. So many questions coming in. I love it on YouTube. You guys are great. I'm going to take a couple from YouTube, and then I'll go to Miss Barajas and Miss Wells to wrap us up in the next few minutes. Time flies when you're having fun with Sloths, people.
Yeah.
Miss Caseman's class is joining us today in Enid, Oklahoma. Welcome in, guys. Now, we haven't had an Oklahoma class in a while. That's great. They want to know, what kinds of insects do they eat? And if you hold out food to them, will they grab it from you or not?
So insects, it's mainly beetles and mainly like any kind of insect that they can find like on the leaves or the flowers. It's not like they go on the hunt for an actual insect, but they can eat in those insects. And as I said, they are opportunistic. So if the opportunity comes, then they will definitely take that opportunity. And then if we give them the food, like for example, we try not to give it like directly, like not me like doing this. Well, if she was bigger, of course. But we try to put them in hangers or on their plates and trays. Howie's out. So yeah, we just try to not have that direct contact with them.
Right. I'm glad we keep underpinning this message in a lot of the questions in the broadcast. Miss Tucker's group, they want to know, do they live in other parts of the world? So you've got sloths all over Costa Rica. Where else can you find them on the planet?
Okay, nice question. So yeah, here in Costa Rica, we can only find 2 species of sloths. The Hoffman two-toed sloth, this guy, and the brown-throated three-fingered sloth, like baby Tarzan. But there are 4 different species of three-fingered sloth, and 2 different species of two-fingered sloth. And you can find them in Central and South America. Most of the species live in South America.
Excellent question, guys. All right, Miss Barajas, we're going back to California. Share your question audibly and take us away.
Alana, unmute, please. And ask your question.
Can baby sloths be exposed to sunlight?
And then, Miss Barajas, sorry, could you repeat that for us, just because it was hard to catch?
She asked if baby sloths can be exposed to sunlight.
Oh, interesting.
Yes, they can. And actually, to talk a little bit about this, sloths, even though they are mammals, they do not regulate their own body temperatures well. Like, for example, if we are getting cold, we start shivering, but they cannot do that. So they actually depend on the temperature of their environment to stay warm or cold. So here on the porch, they do get a little bit of sunlight, so they can stay a little warmer. These babies were catching a little bit of sunlight here that we had a while ago. And the adults, most of the times in the morning, you will see them hanging from upside down on their enclosures, sunbathing a little bit.
Excellent. Sorry for the delay. Buttons weren't working for me there. Let's more question. Portabas, welcome in, guys. So nice to have Ms. Wells' class joining us live. And their question, my favorite question, is how many sloths have you guys saved over the years since you were founded, Andrea?
Oh, that's actually a really difficult question. We have saved a lot of sloths. Just this year, we have rescued more than 50 sloths, and most of them have had the chance to go back into the wild. So I'm sure that the number is more than 300 sloths. Ooh, more than that, a lot more than that. But we do get, like, for example, we do not only get to rescue these babies, we also get to rescue some of them that go to the clinic, like adults that get electrocuted or attacked by dogs or hit by cars. So it is a lot of sloths.
Hundreds, I mean, like, again, it's a testament to the amazing work that you guys do. Decades in operation, hundreds of sloths saved, not to mention otters, birds, all sorts of incredible creatures. It's one of our classes. If you guys want to check out all the past programs, we've done over 30 programs at the ranch. You can see them all on YouTube. Lots of really, really great stuff. So I really encourage you guys to check those out. What I want to do now, Andrea, is just bring up where people can learn more. We are nearing the end of the broadcast, and so if people want to head to toucanrescueranch.org to learn more about the amazing work you do, if they want to check out all the Sloth Ironman games, who won what competitions, all the great donations you guys receive, check out the info on the Ironman games on their website. And before we wrap up, what is one thing we didn't get a chance to ask this today? What is one thing that everyone in the classes today can do to help save baby sloths in the wild?
Okay, well, that is a really nice question. And this does not only apply for sloths, it applies for so many other species. So, the first thing that you can do from home is if you have access to social media like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube, or any kind of social media, if you start following people that have sloths as pets, or places where you will get to pay to interact with the baby sloths or with any other kind of wild animal, that's definitely a red flag. You should unfollow and stop supporting those places because they do not care that much about the animals. Most of those places and most of those people, they just want money, and they want to profit off of the animals. So that is a really, really easy way that you guys can help us. Also, well, it is a huge deal here in Costa Rica, but with other animals as well, always know where your food is coming from. For example, the palm oil, it is a really, really big example of that. We don't have any orangutans here in Costa Rica, but they're suffering from the palm oil. And we do have some palm oil plantations here in Costa Rica. Not as much as in Malaysia and all of those countries, but that's definitely a problem. And yeah, basically try to support like the good people, people that are actually trying to work for the sloths and for other animals.
Fantastic, Andrea. I think it's such an important message. Both of those things underpin a lot of what we hear from conservation groups all over the world. So again, make sure that when you go places, whether it's local, whether it's on travel, you don't have things where animals are sitting on your shoulder. In pretty much every case, that's not a situation where the animals are treated very well or in a good condition. So that you can do that and do a long way towards conserving wild species. And take care with what you buy, what you eat. This is something we're hearing from groups all over the world. Pay attention to those things, and it's a very small thing that we can all do that makes a really big difference. So thank you for sharing that, Andrea. And kudos to the work that you do. I mean, as you know, we end every broadcast by bringing in our classes. So Miss Martin, Miss Gala, Miss Barajas, Miss Wells, we want to join you in saying a big thank you and farewell to Andrea. We're all in the broadcast. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a wonderful day.